Hey, what's up? Time for a new unboxing, and this time it's going to be the Pokemon Scale World once again, but of the Galar regions, Raihan and Duraludon. So this is a Japanese product again, so it's got the Japanese names on it. So his Japanese name is Kibana. I'm going to call him Raihan or pronounce it as Raihan. It might be a different pronunciation, but I prefer Raihan. And then yeah, Duraludon is his Japanese name, pretty similar to Duraludon in English. So let's get this thing open. This is a web exclusive once again, so brown cheaper box, which is plain pretty much on all sides. So let's take this thing out and so we can show you the proper packaging. So once you remove the brown box, you're greeted with the actual product box itself. So it's similar to what Nessa had beforehand. So with predominantly a white theme going on, with a logo Pokemon Scale World in Japanese at the top, and then just a big picture of the relevant Pokemon and then the gym leader itself. So back when I did Nessa, I didn't really understand why it had the number. It was a complete oversight on my part, but it's because of the number relevant to that gym leader or the character. So 49 in Nessa's case, 241 in Raihan's case. So then if we go to the other side, they show you a few pictures of some of the Scale World stuff that's been released and is about to release. So these ones are actually predominantly all been released. Dragapult is still not out yet, and neither is Corviknight. Corviknight, I believe, is out at the end of this month, which I will do a video of as well. And then you can get some of these ones here, which are general release, so you should still be able to get those from decent import sites. This is the underside, so nothing there. And then on the other side, again, similar sort of thing going on, but this time showing Kanto region and Johto region, which I've done some of these, covered some of these before, so say 3 starters and Snorlax, for example, and then some more of what's coming out soon. So these guys are coming soon. I believe Leon is actually the next one, which comes with Dragapult, so I'm quite excited to see that one. On the top then, just a few more pictures of Duraludon and Raihan. So once you open the box, you'll get Duraludon the Pokemon, Raihan the figure plus a stand, and of course you get the candy. So the candy I never ever try, so I'm going to put that aside. If you have tried it, let me know what it tastes like. I just never try them. Let's go through the figure first, and then I'll go through Duraludon as a Pokemon. So like all the trainer figures or gym leaders, or basically the human characters in Scale World set, you get a stand for extra stability. This one's a bit different. It's a bit bigger than what I'm used to. The other ones tend to be half the size of this. Same thing though, you just pretty much line it up into the character's feet, and then that's it really. I probably will use this a bit more with Raihan, which is a bit weird because my reason for using it is because he topples forward a bit more, but it looks like he still topples forward with the stand. But maybe I've just not got it aligned properly. You may or may not need it. It's really going to depend on you and how level your surfaces are. So talking about the figure, this follows on nicely from Nessa beforehand. Now, if you saw my Nessa video, in that I briefly kind of mentioned that a lot of these human characters in the Scale World set have been pretty poor. They've come out quite sloppy in terms of mold, sculpt and paint, but Nessa was a marked improvement. On first inspection, he looks good. It still is a glorified Gashapon figure. Honestly, that's still my opinion on these guys, and this whole range of figures is still a glorified Gashapon. But this is still, alongside Nessa, a very good trainer figure, way better than whatever was given with the Kanto set. And I never did open Johto, so I can't really comment on that much. But it's still pretty good looking. So, the paint looks great. The sculpting is pretty good as well, for the most part. I mean, I don't really have any major complaints about it. There was this main little tiny bit under his hood hair that came out like that out of the box. But, it's not awful. There's a little bit on one of his sideburns. Now, I don't know if his head is supposed to move, but it does for me. His sideburn doesn't look even or like symmetrical, but it's not a big deal because most of the time he's going to be facing this sort of direction, so you're not really going to see the right sideburn so much. But I generally do like the way this figure turned out. I like the way his hoodie is sculpted, the little bits on his hair as well from his bandana, all really good. He's got his Dynamax band as well over here, so I should try and show you that all around. Of course with the gloved hand as well, like so. Yeah, his hoodie is really good, and of course, yeah, he's got the dragon type emblem on his shorts there, which is really nice as well. I haven't actually compared the text here, if that's accurately written in the Pokemon kind of writing, but hey, it looks pretty good to me. And of course the 241 number and more. Sponsorship? Yeah, the sponsorship. Also got to say, his sneakers, very cool sneakers. I know everyone loves his hoodie and everything, but his sneakers are pretty cool as well. I would indeed love a pair of these. So overall the figure is quite nice. I'm happy with the way they've done it, but it still is a glorified Gashapon. I can't get over that fact. He stands pretty tall, by the way, so you can kind of see that straight away. He's taller than Duraludon. So this is Duraludon in his normal state. It's not Gigantamaxed or anything like that. So he stands about 9.5 or 9.7 centimeters. So yeah, you can see he's a tall guy. And this is supposed to be 120 scale. So if this was 1/1 scale, then he would be around 6'2" or 6'3". So Raihan is pretty lanky. Maybe that's why a lot of people love him as well, because he's so tall. But honestly, he's one of the most popular characters, and he looks great. His design is so good. A lot of the Sword and Shield gym leaders had really, really great designs, and for me personally as well, Raihan was one of the best ones. So we're going to talk about more Raihan, not in this video, but when his Figma comes out, that is what I'm excited for when it comes to Raihan. But in this case, okay, not a bad figure, still a glorified Gashapon. I'm going to lie him down, and let's move on to Duraludon. Duraludon, again, just like Raihan, is one of the newer characters, and especially newer Pokemon in the Pokemon universe. So just to catch you up quickly, Gen 8's Pokemon Sword and Shield, Duraludon is from that generation, so it's new if you have kind of lapsed and have not been paying attention to Pokemon since, well before Pokemon Sword and Shield. So this Pokemon is in its normal regular state, and it does Gigantamax. Whether Scale World will do Gigantamax Pokemon remains to be seen. I'd be very interested in some of those, because some of those forms look really cool. But here we have just regular Duraludon, which honestly I'm not a huge fan of as a Pokemon. It's, I'm not attached to it, so I don't have any strong opinion on it in terms of type of Pokemon or anything like that, or even design really. But in terms of this figure, I actually quite like the sculpt for it, and it's very angular, and then you can kind of see that throughout everything. Really is super angular, and it's done really well. It's got clean angles on it. Most of the paint is really, really well done. There's minor thing at this line here at the back, but otherwise it is a very, very nice sculpt in my opinion. It actually feels super toy-like. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be a character or some sort of species or animal or anything like that. It just feels like some random toy. But yeah, it comes out really well. The sculpt was really, really good for this. There's a slight texture difference though from, say, this bottom panel. Might be hard to kind of make out, but it's slightly textured here versus the top panel, which is very plain and pretty much mimics the rest of its body. I'm not sure if that's intentional. I haven't really taken the closest look at Duraludon, but if it is, that's good attention to detail. Of course, you can see his eyes there too. Now, I pretty much refer to this Pokemon as the Shard Pokemon because the Gigantamax version totally looks like London's The Shard. So yeah, that's my kind of take on this Pokemon. I don't really have too much more to say about it because, again, I don't know enough about this Pokemon and I'm not attached to it. But otherwise, the sculpt is quite decent on it. And I showed you as well, I'll show you once again, scale-wise, he's supposed to be 5'11", 5'11". So yeah, Raihan is pretty lanky. Now I'm going to bring out Nessa just to give that a quick comparison with Raihan as well. Nessa is shorter than Raihan over there. I'll bring out Rillaboom as well. I'm not going to bring out all of the Pokemon because then it becomes extremely cluttered. But you can see, just for kind of a size comparison, Rillaboom against Duraludon and the other real human characters, or real in terms of Pokemon characters. And then I'll bring out Entei as well, just a random one that I picked up off the shelf. So it's not the biggest Pokemon, but it stands high. It's one of the higher or taller Pokemon in its natural pose. So yeah, you can kind of have a quick grasp at the comparison or size comparison with this. As I mentioned in all my Scale World videos, though, that I think Scale World is appealing when you've got multiple Pokemon and multiple trainer characters together in one. Then they look really cool together. As an individual, let's separate these guys out. Actually, in terms of this one, even though I'm not attached to Duraludon, as a singular Pokemon with Raihan, it's probably my favorite one so far. It stands out quite good. I mean, this is excluding the Kanto region stuff, just because I'm used to that and I see him in and out, day in and out, and they're my favorite Pokemon. But this one actually looks pretty good together. I have to say, as a singular thing, if you don't want to have so many Pokemon, these two look quite cool together. So look, I think Raihan and Duraludon have come out quite well. Like I said, the sculpt on Duraludon is pretty good. It's very angular, very clean. And Raihan isn't so bad himself. It's a good follow-on from Nessa and Dreadnought. I think the Scale World line is improving. It definitely isn't as sloppy as the first Kanto set that came out. which is a good thing. Shame for the Kanto set, and that's why it still reminds me of how the amiibos, Nintendo's amiibos, got better in terms of quality over the releases. So I'm keen to check out what Leon and Dragapult are going to look like. Again, I do still think that they are glorified Gashapon figures. They are quite expensive for what they are, and especially some of the web exclusives, because they shoot up in price. But even at retail price, they're still expensive for what they are. I mentioned before as well, Raihan is getting a cool Figma, which is an articulated figure, coming out. So if you want to kind of save your money and buy that instead, I'd honestly wait for that, because that Figma looks pretty sweet. And there's a couple of other trainers as well that are doing, and other Pokemon stuff that they have done in the past. So I'll leave a link in the description below for that one. But that one is to keep an eye out for sure. So the next one I believe I'm going to get is Corviknight, which is supposed to be dropping at the end of this month. And I think Leon is very similar time frame as well. So if you haven't checked out my other Scale World videos, I covered Nessa right before this one, and a few of the Kanto region stuff. So peruse those in the meantime until Corviknight drops, and I'll cover that one too. Thanks for watching, stay safe wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.